Hi, welcome back to Brush Tips with Cheri. Today we're going to be doing a cute little fall painting. This fun little fall leaf right here. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our paint colors. We have a lot of blues and greens here. So we have the phthalo blue, which is a darker blue. You could use a lighter blue if you want. Yellow, a neon green, a phthalo green, and white. Our brushes are going to be a lot of the same ones that we've been using. We have our Big Daddy brush. That's our favorite. We have one that just fell on the floor. We have a little square brush and then a smaller round brush. So these are the three main brushes that you're going to need. I like to use one with a point to help with the little water droplets on the trees, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our brushes in our cups, just get that wet. Then I like to take this neon green and just paint in the middle. So I start with a line. I drew out with a pencil the leaf. So if you want, you can do that. You don't have to. And it's okay if you go over your pencil mark. If you go over your pencil mark, you're like, oh my gosh, I just went over my pencil mark. It's okay. You can wipe it, or we're going to go over it with blue anyway. So I paint the inside first because I want this to dry a little bit before I come in and add the details. So I'm just going to hit this with this neon color. You can add a little yellow to it if you want and see how it kind of changes the middle. Throw some over here. Just fill it all in. You can really make this leaf any color you want if you wanted to do a different color. You don't have to do green. If you wanted to go with the more fall colors, you could. Add some reds and oranges in there. And fill her in all the way down. See how I did like a little bit of an ombre look? I'm going to come in with some darks too once we get moving on the colors of it. But right now we're just going to go with the more faded ombre look, and that is fun because it gives you different shades throughout, so you're going to get more depth to your leaf. I only have a big brush here right now, so I'm just going to fill that in. It's okay if you go over the edge because, like I said, we're going to go around the edge, and that's when we'll do our details. So it's okay if you go like this and get it over the edge a little. Or you could just not be lazy like me and switch your brush. But I'm like, I always tease and say like, I'm a lazy painter. Because I am. I just go and I just like start to paint, but then I get kind of lazy and I stick with the same brush the whole time. Oh my goodness. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with the blue. So you can rinse your brush off. Rinse, rinse, rinse. I am going to switch brushes actually. So I'm going to use this smaller brush. I didn't realize I had these here, but I didn't mention this one to begin with. But here's a smaller brush. It'll just help us get more of the angled parts of it. So I'm going to start with the phthalo blue, which is the super, super dark blue. I'm just going to come around here. Okay. Just make like a good solid outline around your leaf. All the way around. If you have to, what you can do too is you can flip your painting. If you feel like you're kind of nervous to go up, you could flip your painting and go like this. Just Keep adding more paint. We are going to paint all of this through here, so we'll get to that. I'm using a lot of dry paint right now. I should wet my brush. Let me wet my brush. And then I'm going to wet my paint. I like to wet my paint because if I wet my brush, oh, I just went into my leaf, and that's okay too. Just hit it like that. If I wet my brush and I just put it directly on my painting, sometimes it'll leave a drip mark, and we don't want the drip mark because then it's going to ruin and your painting. It's going to pool from the paint, and then you'll be a little stressed out. It is fixable, but it doesn't always look great. So when I wet my brush, I just wet it, and then I just kind of mix it around in the paint a little bit to get some of that water off. Or you can touch a paper towel. Either way. Either way, it's going to look great. This is an Abby painting, and I was like, hey, I need something to paint today. So I saw this, and I thought, this is perfect. It's like kind of chilly outside. It's a little overcast because it's Ohio. All right. There we go. We have the outline done. So now we are going to just start a thicker line around. This one's kind of easy, quick line. You can wet your brush. You can get a smaller detail brush if you need to help get you closer to the leaf. I feel like I'm being so quiet because I'm like following these lines softly. So see how I am just kind of going around the edge here? There we go. Fill all of this in here. When I get to the edges, I do like to hit my sides. I'm actually going to switch back to my bigger brush just for time purposes. But you don't have to. You can keep using your smaller brush. See how much more I cover when I use the big brush? Can you hear it on the canvas? Oh, we almost dropped it. Today I feel like we should have done coffee and painting. I should have brought coffee with me, and then we could have just done coffee and painting. I do like tea though too, so maybe one day we'll have to do tea and painting. All right, fill it in. Maybe while your painting's drying, you could go make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I'm going to hit my side too. Not everyone hits the side of their canvas, and that's okay. You don't have to if you don't want to. I have people do it because sometimes people don't put frames around their paintings. Nope. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Fill it in. Now you can let this dry if you want, or you can just start going all the way around. Like this. Perfect. Fill this guy in. Then we're going to go back to our leaf. Can you guys hear that? I don't know if it picks up on the mics or not, but it's so loud to me when I'm brushing my brush on my canvas. I feel like everyone can hear it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm psyching myself out here. But what kind of painting show would it be if we didn't have the sound of paint? Oh, I just went onto my leaf again. Oops. So I did not paint the bottom, but I'm going to now. I'll show you how I do that. Just going to smooth out some of this paint here. You can see it looks pretty thin. So what I do is just come back in with a little bit heavier paint, not so watered down. Just smooth it out. Just like this. Then we're going to let this part dry while we start to work on our leaf. And our leaf is dry, see? Nothing on my hands. Acrylics dry pretty fast. So you don't have to worry too much about trying to get it to dry. You could always use a blow dryer. You can just let it sit for a few minutes and let it dry. It's the oils and some watercolors. Those take a little bit longer to dry when you switch up. We use a lot of acrylics though because they are fast drying. I'm just hitting my side here. You can see here that my bottom wasn't done. So I'm just going to paint that really quick here. And just straighten this guy back out. Perfect. Okay. Oh, I thought there was black in there, but I guess I could use a little black. Maybe I'll put a little black dot on there just to help darken up that green around the edges. There we go. That's easy, right? Okay, now onto that smaller square brush. It's one of the first original ones that we talked about when we shared our brushes that we're using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to make the veins. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to make the veins first. The veins, now if you want you can get a piece of chalk and do it, but you don't have to. The veins are going to start here in this little guy, okay? So you can go dark here with your stem. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lead offs. So you can go here to the point, then here to the point, here to the point, here to the point, and then here to this point, okay? Darken that up a little bit with my phthalo green. And just fill those in. If you put a lot of pressure on your brush, you're going to go a little darker, so you might not want to do that. And then we're just going to lead off of that. Okay. So I'm going to go here to this point. Then I'm going to go here to this spot, here to this spot. So we have 2 here, and then let's do 1 here, okay? Just like that. Perfect. Get some more. Don't be shy with it. And let's go here to this spot. See, I'm going to start to connect the leaves here. and here to this spot. So you see that these two are kind of connected now. We're going to go here and one from this point as well. Boy, I went a little thick with that. That's okay. I do need to add a little white here to kind of bring that back in, because I want that to be more dominant. So I'm just going to add a little bit of white and I'll just shade over it later. Oh, I just got real quiet. I noticed. Okay, one here and one here. If you're worried about the lines, you can switch brushes. Just grab that round one. I'll grab it and I'll show you really quick. Let me grab that round one. This round one that we were talking about earlier. Just going to get it wet. I'm going to roll it through. This one helps with, see that line, how thin it went, and these ones were thicker. So it just depends on how thick you want your lines to be. Go back over this. Go back over this as well. And here, here. Awesome. Everyone's, I'm sure, is looking great. There we go. See how it has more of like a defined line? I went skinny. I just used the very tip of the brush, and I don't apply a lot of pressure. When you start to apply the pressure, that's when you get the thick lines. If you're not a thick line person, then don't apply the pressure. All right, we've got this one here, this one here, kind of going at a little crookedness, just because I don't want to make it look too straight. I mean, you can. Like the sample one is very straight. I guess they are kind of straight like in real nature. All right, I'll clean it up. Clean it up, clean it up. Let's do this one to here. This one to here. This one to here. This one to here. What was that? What did I just do there? I cracked myself up. Perfect. Remember that black that I said that we were going to get? What you can do is you can bring it into your phthalo green if you want, and just kind of darken up this stem. I mean, it's just a minuscule amount of black that you would use. And let's outline our little guy, our little leaf here. I did add a little bit more black to this one. Just because I want it to be more defined. So I just like to go a little darker. Just do the outline of your leaf. You don't, whoa, I almost dripped a lot of paint. I had a lot of paint on there. If you're more comfortable doing this outline with it laying on a table, if you're not using an easel, then definitely take it off the easel and lay it on the table if you want. You don't have to. You can do it like this. There we go. I feel like the blue in there is lighter around the outside than it is on here, but I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong. How's this looking? I'm sure yours is looking phenomenal as well. And there we go. Now we have this nice flowy outline, right? Let me fill this guy. There he is. I was trying. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Now we have that done. Now what we're going to do is clean that brush off. We're going to go in and we're going to do a little bit of shading, and then we're going to start with the outline. The outline is super fast. So all I'm going to do with this is take a little bit of green and yellow mix and just really lightly, super, super light, just fill in. Okay. You don't have to do it to all of it if you don't want to. If you want to do just like a little shades of yellow, you can. We're just trying to add some depth to our leaf here. There we go. Grab more yellow here. Grab this yellow. Oop, I just pulled from that green. That's all right. We'll fix that and add some here. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit. Just kind of fill in these little guys. They don't have to be perfect, but I want to get most of this outline done before our time ends today. Just like that, okay? So I'm going to rinse this off. I am going to grab the bigger of that square brush again, and I'm going to mix some blue and some white, okay? Then this is just a very loose, quick outline. Okay, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, just kind of quick, loose outline. I started with the lighter color because I think that will kind of brighten it up a little bit. So we'll just go like this. You see how I'm not lifting my brush? You can lift your brush if you need to, but you don't have to. Okay? Okay, so we have this little layer on right here. So our next layer is going to be a different shade of the blue. We can mix a little bit of green, like make it more of like a turquoise color, and go around it again. Let's see. Go around this guy. When I get to the bottom, I'll just come off my canvas. Okay, we can switch to yellow here. If you have other shades of blue you want to try, definitely grab those. Let's do a yellow. Ooh, let's mix it with white. This is very flowy now. I'm just going to bring it off the canvas over here. Okay. And do that same thing again with a different color. Let's go with super light blue. Let's let's go like a mint green. That would be pretty. You can add a little bit of blue to it and change it to like a turquoise color. And all you're gonna do is just keep building up this layer around it. Okay, just like that. Gets easier and easier. I'm gonna show you how to do the bubbles really quick. We're gonna use that round detailed brush, or that round little brush. You're gonna grab just a little bit of white on your brush. Very, very, very little. And you're just gonna make a circle. We'll go here. Okay, you see I made a little bubble there. Do a little one here. And then I'm just gonna help shade it in with the green. So I have the bubble, but I'm gonna take some green as well, and I'm just gonna outline it super lightly. Oop, I bumped it the wrong way. I'm gonna outline this one super light. And all you do is just shade it, and then we'll hit it with white again to give it that little bubble mark, okay? You can use a tiny little detail brush if you want. You can just stick with this brush. Let's go big here. Fill this guy in with some white. Okay. You want it to be a little transparent. You want to be able to see through it a little bit. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to shade it with my green again. Then I'm going to hit this side with just green. Come in with a dot of white, just like that. You see how I did that? And then you're going to sign your painting. So be sure to add your initials at the bottom. Own it because you're an amazing artist. And then you're finished. Thank you very much for hanging out and painting today. We will paint again soon.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.